What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. Got another video for you guys. An update on the Nova. If you haven't watched the first video, go check it out. Some good information about the car, where it came from, and how it came to be, and why it's not running and it's sitting here in the garage, aside from it being winter out right now. Yeah, so the update is there's no motor in it. It's actually right there. And that's the trans. So yeah, guys, I did record some of it for you guys. Yeah, it's pretty gross in there. Yeah. Alright, guys, so far we got the radiator hoses all taken off, transmission lines disconnected. I am going to try to disconnect everything that goes to the fenders and see if I can just take everything off at once, or if not, just take the core support off at least, just to give me a little bit better access around here, and it'll be better for when I grab the cherry picker and pick this thing up. So yeah, just like I said, radiator hoses, upper, lower, trans feed lines that go down into the trans. We're actually going to be changing that up a little bit too. I got to put a trans cooler independent from the radiator. I think the trans is it might have been underfilled or overfilled. I'm not entirely sure which of the two, but it got hot. The clutches are giving out on it, and it's just time for a rebuild. The quote-unquote rebuild that I got obviously wasn't sufficient for really anything, because this thing makes maybe 300 horsepower on a good day. So yeah, not a lot of power. It's pretty quick, but I mean, I also have a pretty gutted interior. You guys can see there's really nothing inside his engine bay. So it is, I weighted the car, and it's 3,200 pounds with me in it, so it's pretty light, and it's got a LS with aluminum heads, and I'm actually doing some billet wheels on it too, so I'm gonna shave a little bit more weight with that too. And I mean, this thing's it's just a really fun street car. It's nothing 500 horsepower. I wish it was 500 horsepower, but it's not. Alright, guys, well, got the core support out. It's right there. Oil's just finishing up draining right now. Gonna drain the trans pan next. It's got a drain plug on it. I'm just gonna get all the fluid out. This thing's gonna be tipping in the back. I'm working by myself. I don't want to make a big mess, so I'm just gonna get all the trans fluid out of it, oil. But it's a different look at the engine. I mean, it's a real basic setup. The heads, I tried to polish them up. I wanted to make them kind of like chrome. It's got like some shine into it, but yeah, it's not too bad. Next, we're gonna take apart all the top end, take the power steering and alternator off, take the belt off, obviously. Move that off to the side, because I don't really want to take it off the gearbox and the Hydro Boost. That Hydro Boost, by the way, is off of like a 2004 Suburban that I took it off from the junkyard. And it's actually using the original lines off of that truck too. So, and that's just your right stuff, master cylinder from Power Brake Kit. And that was on the car, but this thing never really made any vacuum because of the big cam that it's got in it. So it wasn't really helping me, and so we went Hydro Boost instead. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and take off the carburetor intake, valley cover. I'm gonna stuff some bolts in a chain, get the motor mounts loosened up, off, take the trans mount off, and hopefully get this thing yanked out. It's got some wiring and stuff to get out of the way, so nothing too major. So hopefully you guys will see this in a few minutes. Out of here. So yeah, guys, I'm working under the car. I'm draining the oil on it. One thing you always want to do is check the oil while you're draining it, especially when you've done stuff to it. Make sure it's not like metallic-y. Not too bad. Could be worse. This is a junkyard motor, guys, so she ain't gonna be perfect. And I actually just rebuilt this thing, so it's gonna have some metal in it before the oil starts to get real cleared up. But you know, just so you guys know, it's got an oil leak on it as well, so that's also part of the reason why it's coming out. I gotta do that rear main seal, and then do the trans and whatnot. I just wanted to let you guys see it, see what I'm talking about. So yeah, everything's basically off of the engine, most of the wiring. All I got left is to take the starter off, or just the wiring. I haven't made up my mind. Chain is hooked up, dry shaft is out, cross member is unbolted from the trans. The trans is draining right now. Everything else is here, off. Just gotta undo the motor mounts. I'll go ahead and do that now. And this thing should be about ready to come out. Just so you guys can see a little bit inside. I don't know how well you can see in there. Well, like I said, this car isn't perfect. Motor's in decent shape. There's a roller setup from factory, so that's good. Texas Speed Cam, 799 heads, valve springs, and that's it, really. And an intake and headers. Not too much. Yeah, I guess. And she's out, guys. All as one, TH400 5.3. Forgot how much work this thing takes to put in. I haven't worked on it in a while. I think the last time I worked on it was spring, and it's been together ever since. So yeah, gonna put it down, and that's probably. Alright guys, so this is my current carburetor. This is the one we're swapping out. This is a Demon Street 625. It's a good carb. It worked on the car. It worked fine. However, I want a little bit more power. I do want to hook up nitrous to it. So the better option would be to go to a bigger carburetor, to a 750. Don't really want to go any bigger than that. Don't need it. This motor's not big enough for it. So yeah, this is actually going to be for sale. Don't need it anymore. So it's a good carburetor, good street carburetor, good for a small block. Don't really have to mess with it at all. Especially if you're just running a stock motor, no cam or anything like that, like super crazy. Should be fine. So if anyone's interested, let me know. It will be for sale. So this, take that off. And this is the new carburetor. This is a Holley HP 750 double pumper with the dual inlets, obviously, because it's double pumper. It's pretty well set up. It's been rebuilt, so it's not brand new, but it's been rebuilt and set up. for what we're gonna do. And I just want to give a shout out to Jones Motorsports. You guys can see that. George actually hooked me up with this carburetor. I found him on Facebook one day. And yeah, guys, if you need a carburetor, heads, porting, tuning, he works on Chevys, Fords, Mopars. Go check him out. Hit him up. I'll put in the description. I'll put his phone number and information. You guys can hit him up. Yeah. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and start taking this thing apart. We're gonna start with the oil pan. Then we're gonna take the valve body off and then work our way through it. There's the pan. There's some metal in it, so like I said, this thing was going out, so it's not perfect. Take this filter off. We won't be reusing this. The kit comes with a new one, a racing one, which just doesn't have a screen in it. Next, we're gonna go ahead and take all these, break all these loose. These are for the valve body. They're 1/2 inch, and you have 3 7/16. That's not good. are the governor tubes. We're gonna completely delete these altogether. We're gonna tap these holes in here and loop it over so we won't use the governor anymore. That's the valve body. Gonna do a couple modifications to this and get it back in there, full manual, and do some stuff. And I'll go over everything, guys, don't worry. Take this guy off. Here's the detent solenoid. We're not going to be using this either. I will put it back in because there's a gasket and it does get fluid and stuff, but it's not going to do anything in there. It's just going to take up space, basically. Next, we're going to take off our gasket and then our plate. We have another gasket. There is 1, 2, 3. There was one on there. 4 check balls. 5 check balls. So make sure you remember where you take those off if you guys decide to do this on your own. Don't know where my magnet's at. Need to organize this garage, man. Sucks not being able to find anything. See, they're just little balls. That's all. So, don't forget about your balls, guys. Next, we're going to take this little guy off. Our 1/2 inch for the reverse servo. Alright guys, we got the valve body off. I struggled with one of the E-clips for the servos and then the bolt for the center section. I had to grind down one of my sockets to get it in there, but we got it. Next we're going to start taking apart the pump and all the internals and get ready to clean this thing up and start building it. Let's get this thing. pump, guys. This is our forward drum. Here's our direct drum. We're actually going to be changing this from the stock TH401 to 4L80V. It's a little bit better. It's a better element sprag. This race here is actually bigger, so it's better. Reverse band. So you guys remember when I told you that this thing was quote unquote rebuilt, and don't believe what they tell you? Well, it turns out the guy was actually in here. Check this out. This guy JB welded this piece of wow. It's actually supposed to be a finishing nail, and he JB welded this part of the case back on, and then just put a regular cotter pin. So we're gonna have to figure that out, see what we can do about it. Don't believe what they tell you, kids. Alright guys, so we got everything out of it. There it is. Everything from front to back. Here we got the pump, the forward drum, direct drum, we got our intermediate clutches, and then we got our whole rear planetary assembly. That includes this guy. And then our reverse band, reverse band, and that's our intermediate band. We got some bushings we gotta change in here. We got some things we gotta figure out. You know, obviously we found this debauchery right here. And I finally figured out why my speedometer never worked. There's no gear in it. So yeah, guys, lesson learned: when they tell you it's rebuilt, give it a once over, because anybody can slap paint on it and say it's rebuilt. This thing has been dug into, but not the way it should have. So yeah, so that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys have a good week. We got some things we got to figure out on this, but you know, we are gonna work through it and get this thing done. So leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell everybody about this channel. Let's do something cool, man. All right, take it easy, guys.